I'm coming up on the 10th anniversary of a relationship. And it's kind of ironic that right now I've been very bullish about the Japanese yen and I've been buying Japanese coins. And one of my favorite Japanese coins is the 1 yen Japanese, 1 Japanese yen coin, which is made of aluminum, which is a perfect 10th anniversary gift for myself. 10 years ago, in the spring of 2010, I was in a very turbulent situation. I was in what I thought was my first serious relationship, and the girl was taking advantage of me, and I almost dropped out of school. I fell behind, and I wasn't doing too well with my family, and I got very ill as a result. See, I really never experienced a relationship before, and I went all out with it, and I wasn't eating correctly. I lived in Rochester, New York, and we had winters that last 5 or 6 months there, and I would see roadkill on the road, and it was very cold, so it was very well preserved, and I would take it home and chop it up and eat it. And around the same time, I would go out fishing with some of my friends, and nobody wanted the fish that they caught. It was just a sport. Before I joined them, they would often just toss it back. But then I realized it was free food, which enabled me to spend all my money on the girl, and I got very ill as a result. I'm lucky I didn't kick off a COVID-09 or a COVID-10 back then, but I got very ill, probably because of mercury poisoning from the fish. And I broke up with the girl, obviously, because I was on the verge of dropping out of school. And I remember I was just lost out of my mind. I didn't know life existed after a relationship. I mean, come to think of it, how stupid I was. Life existed before I met the girl. I didn't think life could exist after. And I was on the verge of being kicked out of school. And I had COVID-09, obviously. I was chronically fatigued. And actually, it was COVID-10 at this point. And I was looking at a coin show that I wanted to go to, but I was very depressed because I didn't have the girl to take to the coin show. And I thought, well, I'm going to be dropping out of school anyway. Let's enjoy one last coin show. That was the mentality I had. It was a very sunny day, if I remember correctly. I woke up. It was a Sunday morning, and when I walked out, it was like, oh my god, I got to go to this coin show. If nothing else, just to enjoy the trip there. I was riding a bicycle at the time. My car was broken. I didn't have the money to get it fixed because, again, the girl was taking advantage of me. I took the bicycle to the coin show, and I had a great time. And I realized that life can be enjoyed without the girl. And I started going on what I call solo sexual dates. So the coin show was on June 13th, 2010. So the anniversary's coming up. And technically our economy has reopened here in Seattle, but not too many people are taking the risk of opening. But that's all right, because I really enjoyed life by myself, both back then and recently during the lockdown. The big problem I have is that even though I enjoy my solo sexual relationship, a lot of times the rest of society doesn't feel happy for my relationship like they would for a more traditional, whether it be heterosexual or homosexual relationship, right? For some reason, solo sexual doesn't fall into with the same tolerance, it seems like. For example, a couple years ago, I took a flight. I booked a seat on the left side of the plane because I was flying from Los Angeles to Tokyo and I wanted to catch the night sky, the ecliptic, right, which is toward the equator. And when I got to the gate, they changed my seat. They said that this family needed to sit together. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, if you can accommodate a couple, why can't you accommodate a single guy who's flying? I mean, certainly they could ask, the other people in the seat. And so I ended up getting on the plane and I talked to the people opposite of me. And it turned out everybody was flying together, but they were okay with switching the entire row, the left side with the right side. And as we were switching that, the flight attendant angrily shouted at me because I was delaying their boarding process and all that. And I apologized, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you accommodated a family. You know, why do I have to do all the hard work to accommodate myself? And now you want to be angry at me. Didn't show it that day because obviously I didn't want to get kicked off the flight or anything, but I was fuming inside. And after I got off the plane, I wrote a complaint, and I ended up getting, I think, 2,000 miles out of the complaint, which is not bad. And it opened their eyes to the response I got. They promised to do some training about that, but I think that's bullshit. Nobody cares about the solosexual guy. When I first became solosexual back in 2010 and in 2011, when I went out for Valentine's Day, I got some very bad service. The waiter, he couldn't wait for me to get out of the restaurant, probably because he would rather a couple come in and give a perceived to get a better tip, right? And it turns out I didn't tip him, but precisely because he wasn't expecting me to tip him. A lot of times tips could be a self-fulfilling prophecy sometimes. But lately the service has gotten better. People have started to realize that people who are solosexual have more money to tip. I think that's, in recent years, when I go out on Valentine's Day, right? I've been going out as a solosexual almost every year. I had a few years where I went out with a girl, and then one year I went out with another guy, actually. But for the most part, I've been going out as a solosexual, and I've been getting better and better service over the last 10 years, which is a good sign. There is one milestone I hope to see in my lifetime. You see, when people go on a double date or some kind of multiple dates, you never see one of those people as a solosexual. You might see a homosexual in there, but never a solosexual. A couple weeks ago, I went out to, what park is this? In Bellevue, Washington, anyhow. One of the boat launches, at least. And I looked out, and I actually got a photograph of this. I'll see if there's a way to post it on YouTube. I got a photograph of 5 birds flying around having a fun time. And my guess is that one of the birds was single, and there were 2 couples in there. And you would never see that with humans. When people go on multiple dates, there's never a solosexual mixed in there with those. So that's a big milestone I hope to see in my lifetime. But I've seen a lot of good milestones already in the last 10 years, including the apology I got from when I was flying, including my experiences going out on Valentine's Day, including some experiences I've had in the workplace. There's still a lot to be done in the workplace, but I'm happy so far, and more importantly, I'm happy with the relationship. You know, what other people see of it, that's only a side note. Thanks for watching.